Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We are broadcasting from Thacker Jewelry Studios, and we want to get right to the phones. We've got the Car Pro Jerry Reynolds on the phone. Jerry, how are things going in your direction?
Hey, good guys. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing okay. You know what? I am a little bit angry, and I think it's coming out in my radio because the elevator's out, and I had to walk up the stairs this morning.
Oh no! Oh no!
Other than that, I'm good.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about the elevator.
Fat people shouldn't have to walk upstairs. That's all there is to it.
It should be a law, for sure. Maybe we can get an executive order.
I think maybe so. I mean, Biden's doing everything else. Well,
Well,
Jerry,
I've been driving around.
What are you driving this week, bud?
Well, I got a mid-sized truck. This is becoming a very popular segment in the auto industry. I've got the GMC Canyon, and this is called the AT4. This is a special package kind of truck. It's got a different suspension. It's kind of an off-road truck, if you will. GMC came out with an AT4 in their big truck, in the GMC Sierra, and this is kind of a knockoff of it. This is the first year that they've had this in the Canyon. It's a 2021 model with a V6, putting out a little over 300 horses. But this size truck is, as the half-ton trucks continue to get bigger and bigger, people are finding this size, if they don't really need that big bed to haul things, if it's just like so many Texans where, a truck is just your car, this size is more manageable. It's easier to park. It's easier to make U-turns in. Fuel economy is a little better, but yet still a very roomy cab. This is a four-door truck. It's coming in price-wise at about $43,000 on the window sticker, which is a lot of money. But as we've discussed so many times, they're pricing vehicles up today so that they can put the big rebates on, and that's what's happening with not only the Canyon, but the Chevy Colorado and the Ford Ranger. They were all gone. All the mid-sized trucks were gone except Toyota Tacoma for a lot of years, and then suddenly they've made a resurgence. But it drives good. It rides good. It's quiet inside. The interior's nice. It's not a luxury truck by any stretch, but it's nice. It's got all the safety equipment that you can put on one, with the forward collision alert and rear camera and that sort of thing. The only thing this truck doesn't have on that I can see, doesn't have the big moonroof like a lot of the mid-sized trucks do. But other than that, it's well equipped, and it's kind of a joy to drive, I got to tell you.
So, Jerry, does anybody make a small truck anymore?
No, there's not a small truck out there anywhere. I wish there were.
I was going to say, I know that a lot of companies, for example, I know the guy who owns the Napa here, they used the small trucks, and he's still using some old Ford Rangers and stuff in some regards now because he can't get a new small-sized truck, which is what he always used for deliveries.
Yeah, and when I owned car dealerships, my Ford dealership sold a ton of Rangers to air conditioning companies and pest control companies and that sort of thing. They were looking for that good fuel economy and also longevity. And the Ranger was always a really good truck as far as, being able to get a couple of 100,000 miles out of one.
Yeah, I think he's kind of gone to some of the smaller SUVs. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a little while, but I think last I saw some of his drivers driving some smaller SUVs now instead.
Yeah, I don't doubt that for a second. I wish someone would come out with a smaller pickup, something the size of the old Ranger, or you might remember the Chevy S10.
Yep.
It was about that size.
I had an S10 Blazer when I was a kid, when I was young.
but this is a nice truck. If you don't need the big bed, it'll still haul 7,700 pounds. It's four-wheel drive and gets pretty decent gas mileage. I'm getting close to 30 out on the highway, which you're not going to get in a full half-ton truck. anymore. Those days are gone.
Yeah. So one of the things I was going to ask you, I've been looking on your carprousa.com in the news section, and it says the 2021 Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat orders are sold out. Now, I'm not looking for any car like this right now, but I always wondered, because it happens with the Corvettes, it happens with some of the other vehicles that are shorter runs, how do you get your name on one of these lists?
Well, you got to jump on it. The order... This one took a little longer than I thought it would, actually. It took a couple of months to sell out 2,000 of these things. And look, not everybody wants a 700-plus horse SUV. But
I do.
If you do, yeah.
I just don't want to pay for it, but yeah, I do.
The crazy thing about it was the towing capacity of this thing was 8,700 pounds. I mean, you're talking Chevy Suburban type towing there. And I got a feeling that some of the people that ordered these things ordered them for the towing. But they still haven't released the pricing on these things. So when you order a vehicle like this, much like the Corvette, much like the Ford Bronco that's coming out, and the Mach-E Mustang all-electric that I had a few weeks ago, you're kind of ordering these things blind. And you don't know what you're going to have to pay. You don't know what MSRP is going to be. You don't know what the market price is going to be. And especially with some of these high horsepower Dodges, some of the dealers charge substantially over MSRP. And
so if you order one, do you have to pay the dealer price, or do you have to pay the price from the manufacturer?
On the Dodges, you've got to pay what the dealer wants.
Oh.
And typically people will negotiate a price in relationship to MSRP. So the dealer might say, hey, you're going to have to pay $5,000 over MSRP when it comes in, and you can take it or leave it. Some dealers will not charge over MSRP for any vehicle. I've got dealers in my group that have never, ever charged over MSRP.
Well, if I ever decide to get on a list, I'm talking to you first.
Well, I'll make sure you get well taken care of. But yeah,
as you always do.
2,000 of them, and sold out. We'll start to see them on the road probably within the next few months. The other article that's there that I wrote this week that people might find interesting is understanding the difference between a car dealer and a car maker. And there is a huge difference, and it dawned on me, people lump those two together. When you own a car dealership, people think you are that manufacturer, when in fact you're not. You're a completely different business than an automaker, and I point out the differences there, and that's why when you get into one of those situations where there's a service problem that's going to not be able to be resolved, and there's a buyback involved under the Texas Lemon Law, something along those lines. Those things have to be handled by the manufacturer of the car, not the dealer. And so I pointed out some differences there, and I think it was pretty enlightening for some folks. I've had good feedback on that article so far.
Yeah, one other thing I was going to bring up, you've got this article on here that Fiat Chrysler and Peugeot, I think that's how you say them,
Yep, that's right,
merged together to a new company. How does that work exactly?
Well, I don't think that it's going to have any effect on anything we see here in the U.S. Peugeot has not been sold in America in a long time, but they're very popular overseas. So I think it was just two companies. I think Fiat Chrysler needed help overseas. They've never done well there, and Peugeot wanted to get their foot into the U.S. market because the U.S. auto market's been so good for so long. It's kind of a marriage of the two companies. I don't see big changes coming for either company, and there's been a lot of these mergers down the road going way back, and most of them have not been successful. This one has a chance of making it. Fiat and Chrysler, when they merged after Chrysler came out of bankruptcy, that's been a good marriage for both of those companies, and I think together Fiat Chrysler and Peugeot will make a more sound, financial company than they've been in the past. I kind of was in favor of this one.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, Jerry, thank you so much for calling in. We'll talk to you again in a week. Want to remind everyone, carprousa.com is the website. You can get the information on the Chevy Colorado on Monday, as well as all the other articles that we've been talking about. And also, you're on 11 to 1 every Saturday right here on KFYO.
Yes, I enjoy being with you guys, and we'll talk at you next week.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Jerry. You have a good day.
Safe.
We'll be right back on Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin.